in Halava as the UH Warriors defeat Boise State and win the WAC championship title. 50,000 fans pack Aloha Stadium and face tight security to make sure they behave with Aloha.
And as far as I know, the fans are really behaving. My section's doing great. The fans are having a great time.
Football fans and shoppers collide, creating a perfect traffic storm. And how malls are helping stores and shoppers stay safe this holiday season.
From KHON 2 News, this is Hawaii at 10 with Joe Moore, Hawaii's #1 news.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Aloha Friday. Joe Moore has a night off. I'm Tanya Joaquin. It's a night of celebration across Hawaii tonight as the UH Warriors clinch the WAC championship with a historic win over Boise State. We want to get right to the action. Kanoa Leahy joining now to show us how it all went down. What a game.
Absolutely. Deemed as the biggest game in school and WAC history, Hawaii continued on the run it has seemed destined to complete. The latest chapter, a cathartic victory over a Boise State team that the Warriors had lost to the last 6 years. But now, for the first time ever, UH can hoist the conference hardware, and it's theirs alone. Boise got on the board first. Ian Johnson spinning and whirling his way to a 50-yard TD jaunt. 7-0 Broncos just like that. Johnson, though, would be held to 86 yards on 22 carries. Hawaii's defense playing well in this one. Back came Colt Brennan and the boys. Brennan finding Ryan Grice-Mullins for the 6-yard score. This was significant. It put Colt past Ty Detmer for the all-time NCAA career touchdown passes mark at 122. And he wasn't nearly done. Brennan and Johnson traded 1-yard touchdown runs. Hawaii, though, got a PAT blocked. So down 14-13, Colt hits Devon Bess, and he tears it in for the 23-yard score. The PAT there got blocked as well, so make it 19-14 UH at that point. They led 19-17 at the half, got the ball to start the third quarter. Less than 2 minutes in, they hit pay dirt another time. Brennan to Bess and Devon at the end of this one. Little exclamation point, flips into the end zone. The fans were flipping out, but the refs not too entertained, gave Bess an excessive celebration penalty. Boise rallied to take a 27-26 lead midway through the third. That's when the Warriors took it to a whole nother level as Brennan tossed 2 more 6-pointers. The last, a 38-yard beauty to C.J. Hawthorne. Brennan finished with 495 yards passing and 5 TDs. 39-27 Warriors, that's how it ended. The Hawaii D pitched a shutout in the fourth quarter, and for the first time ever, UH is the outright conference champ, still unbeaten at 11-0.
It's the best feeling I've ever had, and I just feel kind of speechless. It doesn't feel like it really hit yet. I just want to get this season finished and undefeated and go to a big bowl game, but it's a great feeling, and I'm just really excited.
It was NFL playoff kind of atmosphere. The crowd was into the game, and the crowd was a factor in the game. It was our 12th man, excuse me.
And the 12th man served the team very well here in this one because 50,000 strong, it was rocking. It was like old days, UH versus BYU. And what a catharsis to be able to overcome all of the adversity against Boise State here in the recent history of the series, and they pull it off. They're the WAC champs. Unbelievable. More coming up in sports, including more reaction and highlights, again, later on in sports in the show.
All right. Thank you, Kanoa.
You're
Look forward to that. Well, of course, all those fans who watched the victory at the stadium have to get home now. Here's a look at traffic around Halava. The game ended over 2 hours ago. Some rain has left the roadways a little wet. 50,000 fans trying to leave Aloha Stadium are making for a little extra traffic on the freeway. Plus, you can't forget those holiday shoppers. But the good news, there are no major accidents in the area so far tonight. The highly anticipated game turned out to be everything and more than UH fans had hoped for. Tammy Mori brings us inside the stadium. Tammy.
Tanya, the entire stadium was literally rumbling with excitement from the start. Today's 50,000 fans gave a whole new meaning to a home field advantage.
This was the place to be tonight. Some fans were willing to pay hundreds of dollars for these tickets to watch the 2 WAC rivals battle it out.
I went online and I got the tickets in September because I believe in the team.
Others who didn't score tickets got the next best seat right outside the stadium.
Every time I hear a little rah-rah coming out of the stadium, check the phone, make sure I know what's going on.
And because of all the passion and hype surrounding the biggest game in UH history, security was on its toes.
We're ready for anything that happens, that's for sure.
Stadium security called an extra 15 employees for this game, and HPD brought in an additional 50 officers.
I need police and security. We've got 14. We've had a few more fights than normal, but as soon as we start having fights, we cut the beer sale.
Police say with this many people in one place, there's bound to be some problems. But the fans say they also regulated one another to make sure everything stayed under control.
Just a few bad apples in the crowd. It's just a few people that ruin it for everyone else, but for the most part, I think everyone has a good time out here.
After all, this was a day for UH to show Boise how it's done. And a time for Hawaii to shine.
Our outright WAC champions.
We are behaving, we're having a good time, we're showing national TV that Hawaii can also play football.
UH is playing one more game in their regular season. It's next Saturday against the University of Washington, and that's another sold-out game. Tammy Mori, KHON 2 News.
Thank you, Tammy. We know there's a lot of celebrating going on, even had some reports of fireworks, so we can guess what that's all about. Now, the first Aloha Stadium parking gates opened at 10:30 this morning, but fans waiting to get in started lining up much earlier, like 4 a.m. By 9 this morning, there were thousands of cars in the area, while hundreds of fans waited for the gates to open. They stayed busy by playing cards, picnicking, or painting their newly cut hair after just a few hours of sleep. Once the gates were open, it didn't take long, about 2 hours to fill up the 8,000 parking spots inside Aloha Stadium. Overflow parking was next as anxious fans made their way to sites like Radford High School.
We have steaks with lemon pepper, garlic, short ribs, making truffle and koi mochi, hot dogs, Portuguese sausage, shrimp.
Perfect for tailgating. Once fans got inside the parking lot, it was time to start the parties. With 50,000 tickets sold, the majority were to UH fans, but there were about 2,000 Boise supporters.
It's been the talk of Boise the whole season, this game has, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, it's the big game of the year.
And how's this for proof all around the state that everyone was backing UH? The city bus offered football fans special express routes while also displaying their Warrior pride, flashing a Go Warriors message. And in downtown, Murphy's gave fans a tailgate party and a ride to the game. A section of Merchant Street was closed off for a pregame tailgate. From there, it was on to a fleet of waiting buses that took them to the stadium gate.